What makes you statistically rare? I was cured of stage 3B lung cancer. I'm allergic to the chemical released when fresh oranges are peeled. That first spray when you open an orange will put me into anaphylactic shock. Super specific. Super rare when the allergy is that severe. Bad oranges. I'm currently breathing with someone else's lungs. I mean finders keepers, right? Benign brain tumor that may have been sitting there my whole life. My doctors say lots of people could be walking around and not even know it, so who knows how rare it is. I'm chimeric, except I have 2 twins. I'm walking around with my fraternal twin brother's DNA and identical twin sister's spinal tube next to my spinal tube. I was supposed to be 3 individuals. Thanks for the silver. I didn't think this was that interesting. I am born on the same date as my dad and great-grandpa. Edit. My most upvoted comment is something that is weird about me. I was one of the few Romanian orphans to receive a good life. Edit. Thank you for the silver. I have epilepsy, so about 1 in 100. Not that rare at all really, but I've had a status epilepticus, which is when you have seizures that don't stop until you die, without intervention. I woke up in the ICU with my hands strapped to the bed, a feeding tube in, a catheter and an insanely sore throat from being intubated. I also have had surgery where they drilled 2 holes in my skull and inserted 2 subdural electrodes to find out where the seizures originate from. That's under the dura mater, right on the surface of my brain. Still have 2 holes in my skull now. I always thought they'd grow over, but apparently just the exposed marrow around the edges closed itself up. So, I want to be donated to a university and turned into a skeleton when I die, slightly smiling face. According to my grandma, I'm the smartest young man alive. I'm naturally a red-headed, blue-eyed, left-handed human and the only one in my family with those characteristics. Do not take one of Faux DNA tests. I have sickle cell anemia. My skin is white. I've had doctors ask me, "Are you sure you have sickle cell? Want to be retested?" This has happened 6 times that I remember. I've never seen my mom angrier, lol. Instead of sweating, I just get really cold when working out. So far no health problems, just a cool way to freak out my friends. I am elite day baby. Coming up on 6 years old, smiley face. Survived premature birth without any defects. Edit. For all those wondering, I was born 4 months early at 1 pound 6 ounces. I've had chicken pox twice. Being reasonably well adjusted despite spending years as a foster kid where some of the homes were abusive. I'm an Asian and also a natural ginger. I'll send a pic to the people who've asked to see in a bit. I don't wanna blow my Reddit anonymity. Just DM me if you want to see and haven't left a comment yet. Left-handed, dyspraxic and celiac. I'm like the unicorn nobody asked for. I'm an 18-month survivor of stage 3 pancreatic cancer and currently in complete remission. Reading these comments is depressing when I try to think of why I'm special, lol. You are the rarest of all. You're abnormal in absolutely no aspect, which in and of itself is abnormal. I was present the 2 times the US was attacked on American soil. I lived in Pearl City, Hawaii, just outside of Pearl Harbor when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor on 12/7/1941. I worked in the Pentagon when a missile struck it on the 9th of November 2001. Edit. To all those correcting me, yes, it was a plane and not a missile. In my very old age I get confused sometimes. When I evacuated the Pentagon as ordered, I could see the part of the plane that was sticking out of the side of the Pentagon. Took me a hell of a long time to get home because of the incredible traffic jam that occurred in the aftermath. I'm a colorblind woman. Apparently, it's 8x rarer in women than in men. For exactly 2 years, I served as the trashman for the International Space Station. My sister is colorblind. My 2 brothers and I'm also a boy, are not. I have visual snow. You see tiny flickering dots everywhere. One of my eyes is sectorally heterochromatic. That's rare enough on its own, but I figure that the color combination and position on the iris makes it absolutely unique on Earth. Edit. Wow, this blew up. For those asking, I'm hazel with a chunk of brown. according to wherever most recent census the website uses. I'm the only person in the US with my particular first plus last name combination. My mother was born with an upside-down uterus. They told her it would be impossible to have a child. I was born with my umbilical cord wrapped 3 times around my neck, and was presumed dead, yet here I am with no birth defects, perfectly healthy. I was paraded around the hospital as a miracle child. Having been born in a small town, everyone always told me I was going to grow up to do miraculous things. I feel as though I have not lived up to the hype. Edit. Wow, this really blew up. Thanks for the kind words, everyone. Don't worry, I'm a happy guy. Bonus fact. I actually had a twin brother, but there wasn't enough food for the both of us. My chances were 50-50 from the get-go. I live my life not only to live up to the expectations set for me, but also for my brother who never got to live his own. I had 5 wisdom teeth. I can fold a fitted sheet. I'm not part of the 77% of felons that went back to prison within 3 years of getting out. 7.5 years and going strong. I have a 34th vertebrae in my spine, normally there is only 33. I've never met anyone else who has 540 degrees of rotation in their wrists. Are you sure it's not broken? My mom has an O blood type and my dad has an A. I have B. We've done genetic testing and they are both indeed my biological parents. We have no idea what has caused this. I had an extra bone in my foot called an accessory navicular. I had to get it removed because of the pain it was causing me while walking. Apparently like 5% of the world has it or gets it taken out. I found out I had synesthesia the first time I got into an argument about how Wednesday is green. My middle name is Matrix. I actually had an allergic reaction to a vaccine as a kid. I passed out and stopped breathing. I almost died. I had a speech impediment as a kid that was probably a result of lack of oxygen to my brain during the incident. True allergic reactions like this are 1 in a million. I couldn't finish my vaccines and can't get booster shots because the chance of another reaction is higher than the chance of me actually contracting anything we vaccinate against. Or it was. Until we starting losing our herd immunity. If I had kids I'd still vaccinate them. People like you are part of why vaccines are so important. It's rare, but some folks are just plain allergic, and we gotta take care of everyone. I'm a featherless biped. There are a few things. I have centralized heterochromia, which is a mutation of a mutation, of a mutation. On top of that, it's hereditary and not linked to any horrific condition that's normally linked to hereditary centralized heterochromia. However, if you want incredibly rare, my wife is alcohol intolerant. I didn't learn about it until she recounted a tale about her grandmother trying to calm her down as a baby by putting whiskey on her gums. Yeah, she calmed down all right. Then her face turned blue and she wasn't breathing. This anomaly is rather rare, but what makes this crazy? My dad is allergic to alcohol, which is very similar but just as rare. Not just grain alcohol. He's allergic to isopropyl as well. He can't even have it on his skin for too long, otherwise it will start burning. There was even a malpractice suit because a doctor didn't believe him when he said he was allergic. Her words were, "It's not possible to be allergic to alcohol." I won't go into details, but the doctor almost fainted and my dad has an insane scar because of it. My body temperature is slightly above average. So I can tell my friends that you're kinda hot. I was born even though my mom had her tubes clamped and was in her 40s. I suffered a stillbirth last year, which is sadly not that rare, but the autopsy discovered the cause was a disseminated herpes infection which I contracted from my partner. Intrauterine herpes infection is very rare. For it to cause death is very rare. Neither of my 2 OBs, the perinatologist, nor the pathologist has ever seen a case of it. Not only that, I had no symptoms at all, never experienced an outbreak, had normal CBC, etc. The pathologist could only find cases where the mother also had a disseminated infection which passed to the baby. My doctor said it's the medical equivalent of being struck by lightning. The good news is that this did not put future pregnancies at risk. Since this typically only happens during a primary infection, I am now 36 weeks with another baby boy, and other than being on preventative acyclovir, they are not concerned for him. My name. I have 6 middle names. I have had 2 sets of adult teeth. The first set grew in after my baby teeth fell out. Then they fell out and were replaced by another set. I've walked around at the geographic North Pole in the Arctic Ocean. Apparently there are only a few thousand of us. I lost 110 pounds. It's been 20 years now and I've not gained any back. O negative blood. Universal donor. I'm left-handed but play every sport right-handed. I've got morning glory syndrome, anomaly, a birth defect in one of my eyes. Basically, optic nerve isn't fully formed, so not only can't I see out of it, my eye can't absorb the flash when taking a picture and instead reflects the light. In pictures, my eye looks like a morning glory flower, hence the name. I have 3 separate learning disabilities and I have a master's degree. Most people with the leaning problems I have only obtain a HS diploma. My height. I'm around 6 feet, which isn't that amazing, except that I have just turned 13. I can move my ears, eyebrows and I sweat doing nothing. I have red hair and blue eyes, which is the rarest combination of hair and eyes. I'm 6'7". Okay, would you like to donate a few inches of your height to a wonderful charity called I'm 5'3" and my little sister is not allowed to be taller than me? I have a double crown, makes it difficult to cut my hair well, so it's good practice for my friend training to be a hairdresser. I have a tongue tie. About 5% of newborns have one and often they naturally go away over time, or have to be snipped to help with breastfeeding or speech, which makes them pretty uncommon in adults. But I still have mine, and so does my sister. My dentist, who's fairly young, in fairness said he'd never seen one before he saw mine. I survived a illness at age 12 that should have left lifelong complications, side effects. I fortunately was only left with minor stomach issues that cleared up over the years. The county nurse was so surprised I didn't 1 die or 2 have lasting complications and wanted me to donate blood so they could do research on how to treat babies who are unfortunately sometimes born with it. Pretty much my only claim to fame. I'm Asian and I'm absolute garbage at math. I'm ambidextrous but some things do prefer one hand to the other. As an example, I am a right-handed swordsman and a left-handed archer. I'd be useless in battle. Well, yeah, we use guns now. That I am left-handed and have red hair. I am a rare breed of minor inconvenience. I have a stutter, the 1% baby. I have a freckle in my eyeball. I have no arch on my foot. I have 3 nipples. I weighed 2 pounds when I was born 2+ months premature in the early 80s. And I've always been perfectly fine, no health concerns. Just knowing the advance in NICU medicine in the past 40 years, I'm impressed that I, at the very least, don't have a heart condition or asthma or something. Drops dead after hitting send. My husband was recently diagnosed with a SHOX deficiency. This gene is associated with shorter than the average person stature. My husband is 6'4". Needless to say, the doctors are baffled. My name. I doubt there are very many people with my particular name. Hugh Mungus. Biggest dickus. I can rumble my ears. A man under 5'2". My dad has brown hair and brown eyes and my mom has red hair and blue eyes. I came out with blonde hair and blue eyes with a bright red beard. Dang, I'm 36 and still can't grow a beard. I don't loiter in left lane and make people dangerously have to pass me on the right. I'm hypoglycemic and hyperactive. I'm a hypo. One time, our car broke down. My mom gave me a candy bar and a Coke. I pushed the car home. I'm a B+. Never knew it was rare until I donated blood and they told me like only 3% of the population is a B+. I would imagine it is rare to have a half-sister who also has a half-sister unrelated to me born the same exact day as me. She also was born in a hospital of the same name, St. Mary's, which is probably common, but across the country from me, and she was given the same first name despite no one having discussed it or having any reason to specifically choose that name. My half-sister and I share a dad. My half-sister and her other half-sister share a mom. My parents called to tell her that her little sister was born as we were across the country and told her my name. Her response: I know. They were confused until they realized. Sadly, my half-sister grew up around and was closer to the other sister, but we still get a kick out of the story, and she only has to remember one birthday. I obey traffic rules. I live in India. I've been to 32 US states and 2 Canadian provinces but have never flown in an airplane in my entire life. I have blue hazel eyes, as well as central heterochromia. I'm Dutch but short. My husband is Dutch and short. Are you my husband? Can cook minute rice in 58 seconds. I would sleep with me. I have a disease called hyperhidrosis, which basically means that my body does not regulate temperature correctly and it makes me sweat continuously. I can fold my tongue in half laterally, straight across the middle, and hold it there with the strength of my tongue muscle alone. So far, I've not met another person who can do it without holding their tongue there using the roof of their mouth. I'm certain others can do it. I've just not met any. Apparently only 1% of adults ID is asexual, so I guess that. I'm an Alaskan Jew. Felt normal enough to me growing up, but it seems to shock people in NYC. I'm an extremely successful ex-felon with a bachelor's and 6-figure salary. I got 13 felonies when I was 18, and finished my degree, got my job by 22. American woman from the Midwest. Lost my virginity at age 26. I labored and gave birth on Labor Day. I like black licorice. I was almost born with 4 nipples. I have delayed phase sleep syndrome, so I sleep during the day. Deleted. Teen mom who earned a degree before 25. About to finish a doctorate.